I wanted to make this video as sort of a hack for people who are not incredibly visually inclined, because it can be really difficult to look at an equation and to try and figure out what will this look like once I've revolved it around an axis or a line. So what I'm doing is I'm using Desmos.com, and this is kind of how I did it and when I was younger and I struggled with looking at how things were done. Now that I've done a lot of math, I have a lot of experience, it's kind of more instinctual, and you'll find that as you practice, you get much better at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this graph, and let's say that we're rotating y equals x. So that would be the equation that I have. And my bounds are going to be from 0, let's say, to 3. Okay? So I'm just kind of making the general shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if I look here, from 0 to 3, I kind of get this triangle. When you want to rotate something, you're going to reflect it across what it's rotating around. So if I'm rotating this around the x-axis, I would reflect it on the x-axis. So it would look like this. Once you get that reflection, you're going to connect them by drawing a circle. And look at that. Now I have a cone. And I have a cone, so I'm not going to use a washer. I'm going to be able to use a disc. If it was going to be something with a, and I'll show you, with that hole in the middle that would cause a washer, you'll be able to tell when you do the reflection process, okay? So let's do the same thing, but let's rotate it around the y-axis this time. And I'm just going over the sketching, guys, in this video. I'm not really covering the actual process because I did post the Khan Academy videos for that. So same thing, y equals x, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's a rough sketch. You're going to reflect it across the y-axis, and then you are going to connect them with the circle. So that's what it looks like when it's been revolved. Now, let's look at something a little more challenging. Most of the time, our washer happens when we have two equations in play. And so what you can do is use Desmos to graph those equations at the same time to see what they look like. So let's say we have something like y equals x squared, and then something like y equals the square root of x. And so again, you can use Desmos to see what that looks like. Let's see if I can use a shortcut. Oh, it does. So we would be looking at where the curves intersect, so this little segment from here to here. So what we're going to do, because we have two equations in play right now, get that pulled back up, is we're going to shade that. So this is where they intersect. This is what's revolving. And it's really important to do the shading step, okay? So we're going to shade this in, and then we're going to follow the same process. We're going to reflect it. So if I reflect this across the axis, it's going to look kind of like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. We are not artists, thankfully, or I would probably not be here. My art is not fantastic. So I have it shaded. That's going to be important because when you connect these, you should see it's kind of like a funnel, right? But you have this empty space in the middle so that when I slice it open, I'm going to need to use a washer because I'm going to have an empty space in the middle of that section. So great way to get around how to rotate these things, how to imagine what does this even look like when it's been rotating. The handy trick is to reflect it, connect it with the circle. When you have two equations in play, shade the area between the two curves, reflect it, connect with the circle. And you guys will totally get there. The more you practice this, the easier it's going to become for you guys mentally.